Hello, YouTube. Hi, friends. I come to you from my car today because I had a little rabbit errand to do. And oh, what strange times we live in. So, anyways, a friend of mine from the Eastern Shore arranged a little rabbit run around the state. So, it turned out four of us met her near the fairgrounds where a local club of mine has a show, which didn't happen. Supposed to be next weekend. And so we all parked, and I didn't know these other people. There were literally five of us here, and we all parked like spaced apart. And then the way we did the rabbit exchanges is she brought the carrier to the middle of the parking area, and then we would come and either take a rabbit out or put a rabbit in, depending on what each of us were doing. and then she and the person would hand off a bag of feed if necessary. And yes, rabbit dealings in the day of COVID-19. So I did my transaction. I have a dear sweet little lilac Rex buck who is going to a gentleman as a pet, and this guy is like thrilled to get this rabbit, and the rabbit's super sweet, so it's going to be a wonderful match. Anyway, so she's nice enough to come around and pick him up and deliver to the anxious new owner. So while I was out, I thought I would do a video for today from my car. These are very strange times we're living in, and I'm going to talk about the concept of collapse today. Yesterday on Facebook, I think it was yesterday, I posted an article that I found and read, dealing with, like, what if you're barely functioning? And the writer of the article, it's on my Facebook, was talking about, gosh, like, I feel like I can barely function. I'm not very productive. I'm not getting amazing things done. Unlike some of these other people that are posting that, you know, they're working out at home and they're getting creative with food and they're doing all this stuff. And this woman was saying, I'm barely functioning. I'm barely getting up. I'm kind of eating, but not really. Not great meals. Not getting a lot done. Having a hard time focusing. Not able to really, not feeling productive. And I want to tell all of you, if that is you, if you are in a state of shutdown, of collapse, if you will, because of all the changes the coronavirus is bringing to our everyday lives right now, then please don't feel like something's wrong with you. That is also a very normal, common response. When we're dealing with a threat, the human system generally does fight, flight, or freeze. So we fight, we like take action and do something against a threat directly. We flee, we run away, we get away from the whatever is the threat. Or we freeze. There is a third. Most people think fight or flight. There's actually fight, flight, or freeze. So freeze is you go into shutdown. That is one of the responses that we have to a threat. And this is a threat. This is a very dangerous thing. And what makes it worse is you can't see it. I already talked about this. I wrote about this in my newsletter. We can't see this threat. We can't identify it. We don't know who's sick. We don't know who's going to get sick. We don't know who's carrying it that isn't even sick. And all of that unknown creates a great deal of anxiety and a great deal of stress. Now, maybe a week or two ago, you were like, okay, I'm okay. Maybe you were more active. Maybe you were more take charge, or like, oh, this isn't getting me down. I'm fine. Which is cool. Like, okay, you were still functioning. And maybe now you're noticing, whew, gosh, I'm struggling more. I'm having a harder time, or I'm not functioning very well. Or, and which could be true, you're like getting to a point of exhaustion of like trying to keep fighting and or fleeing, and now you're like, ugh. So now you may be in a collapse state, you may be in a freeze state, or you may be alternating. And I think for a lot of people, I feel like that's kind of where I'm at, is I think I'm cycling. I think some moments, some parts of some days, I'm like, okay, I'm good, I'm okay, and I'm working and I'm functioning and I'm getting things done I need to, and I feel a little hopeful and a little like, okay, I'm going to get through this. We are going to get through this. Humanity will get through this. So I'm like kind of okay. And then other times I'm like, oh my gosh. And I just feel the weight of it. I feel the emotion of it. I feel so sad and so incredibly sad about the loss of life that's going on, about just everything. It's just incredibly sad. I feel a lot of grief, and then I don't want to do anything, and then I'm like, what's the point? Some despair comes in there, some hopelessness. So if that's you, if you're in a state of collapse, or if you're cycling through a state of collapse, I'm sorry. And I want you to know that that's normal, that that's not unusual. There's nothing wrong with you if you're kind of cycling through that. When you're in a state of collapse, when you're in that freeze state, you need to take care of yourself, and that's hard. We need to, when we're in freeze, we're in shutdown. When we're in shutdown, it's actually a lack of energy. It's not like that amped up energy, amped up anxiety. If we're in shutdown, we actually need to juice up our nervous system a little bit. This is not about anxiety, but this is about energizing our system. And there are some exercises you can do to kind of amp up your nervous system. Let me just quickly describe a couple of them. Stretching is a way to juice up. Gently pulling on your joints is a way to, so pull. I'm cracking. I'm not trying to crack. So twisting, pulling is a way to juice up your system. Rubbing your ears. Doing some face massage, some ear massage is a way to juice up. And it's interesting, as you do each of these things, notice how you feel. Like right now, I am literally feeling like more energy in my system going on than I did a couple minutes ago. Moving, stretching, bouncing. If you have a physio ball, I'm not on a ball, I'm in my car, but if you have a physio ball, bouncing on your ball is also energizing to your nervous system. And okay, so if you take a deep inhalation, not super fast, but a faster inhalation, that is energizing. So rather than taking like just a completely normal breath in and out, or a very slow, if you do a slow in and out, especially a slow out, that's grounding and settling. If you do a faster inhalation, a faster intake, that's energizing. Yeah, it is. So try that. Inhale fairly quickly, quicker than you usually do, and then exhale normally. you'll notice like a little more energy in your system. The deep exhale is settling, is grounding. So there's a few ideas if you're in a state of collapse. Oh, moving too, walking. See, walking is, bilateral stimulation, and right, left is generally settling, but I think it depends. And what we really need to do is to practice both. We need to regulate both ways. So if you're feeling a little amped up, we need to ground. Taking that deep, slow breath, doing some tapping, sitting down, lying down. And then if we get depleted, if we get collapsed, then we need to stretch and pull and start to move the energy. We don't want to stay in one state or the other all the time, because that's not helpful and that's not useful. So we need to have, and the other person with Rabbits for Karen has arrived. We need to be able to go back and forth and back and forth. And it takes lots of practice. So if you're thinking, wow, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't feel like I know what I'm doing, that's okay. It's a process. It really, really is. And that's okay. And wow, I feel better just having done this for you guys. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope this was helpful in knowing what to do when you're in more of a collapse state. And again, alternate between you're going to get amped up, then you need to calm down, and then you may get too calm, you may get too collapsed, and then you need to amp it up, bring it up, energize your system just a little. And you'll have to go back and forth between bringing your system down and bringing your system up to know what is exactly the best balance for you. And that's going to change from day to day, from task to task, from hour to hour. What you need is going to change, and that's okay. That's normal. So thank you. Have a good day as much as possible. Use your skills, lean on your resources, lean on your support system. Stay away from people physically, but connect to people emotionally, socially, through media, through phone calls, through video, through social media, whatever. Stay connected to people, but just physically do the physical distancing, and this will pass, and we'll get through it. All right, till tomorrow.